to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light. Yeah,
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast with me. Delighted to have on Zoom all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Michael Hunter. Michael, firstly, how are we doing?
Good. Excited. Ready to get back in that ring.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. I apologize to my fans.
Obviously, the last time you were in the ring, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was December 2021.
That's right.
Sometimes it's hard to continuously stay in the gym for long periods of time. How has that process been over the last 14 months?
Well, for the most part, I thought I was getting ready for fights, so I was kind of, anticipating a fight. So I was kind of already in the gym, and then, when I didn't have a fight, and I knew I wasn't having a fight, I was pretty much already in good shape. So I just went back to the basic lifting and the normal stuff. So it's kind of a lifestyle anyway. Something that I do regularly is just depending on the intensities and the phases. We have to adjust. So that was about it.
Obviously, you're referring to your fight that you were supposed to have with Hughie Fury here in the UK. I believe it was Manchester initially, and then I think it was Birmingham the second time round. So have you got over that period now? Have you got over those fights not taking place?
Yeah, for sure. I think the full way advantage to get over it is actually me getting in the ring, and but because it's basically postponed my whole career for quite some time, and that's the worst thing to do to a fighter is keep them inactive. So I think that once I get active, it'll be fully behind me. But right now, it's still a little there because of me not being active right now.
So hoping you go in the ring, do you still have Hughie on your list somewhere that you want to fight, or is it now?
Nah. I never really was interested in fighting him. No way. But he was just this guy that was standing in my way. So I was gonna have to do what I had to do. But yeah, I really had no interest in fighting Huey Fury, and no way. I think there's some bigger, better fights out there for me. Um, some bigger, better matchups, and I think that I'm ready to fight. I don't know why there's so much stalling out with these companies and promotions not being able to make fights happen. And but I'm not that type of guy. I'm ready to fight every couple months. So
In terms of the next fight date, opponent, promoter, location, is that being talked about? Is this something in the diary? Can you give us anything?
yeah, definitely, I got some stuff in the works. Some big stuff. I'm gonna be fighting. A very credible opponent. Hopefully, real soon. I can't really say no names, but there's definitely England has a handful of fighters that I could be fighting right now. So, um, I'm just waiting for one of those guys to actually, man up and let it be an actual business move. And let that be that. But yeah, definitely got some stuff in the works.
You may not be able to give me names, but I'm going to say a few names that have been rumored. One is Martin Bakole. Another rumored name is Joseph Parker. So, do any of those interest you?
Yeah, I would fight those guys. Martin Bakole right now is using my name and whatnot, saying that he offered me a fight. Which is a false narrative that he's been painting. Um, that's a fight that's there for me. I'm willing to fight him. Uh, you know, but they gotta offer me something first. So me and Joseph Parker been actually going back and forth. on Instagram here and there, and you know, so that's a fight that can be made. And we have any of those guys that I'm right there in those top 10. You got a lot of fighters right there in the top 10, and guys that are pushing to be in the top 10 here very shortly. So
Yeah, Michael, this whole Martin Bakole stuff that's been going on. I've seen a lot of stuff online about this particular fight. So if you had the option of Martin or Joseph, who would you kind of pick?
uh, shoot, either one of those. Actually, I would like to line them both up if I could. I just think it's a little messed up that he used my name, Martin Bakole used my name to say he just told him and his coach just told me that they weren't going to fight me, that I had my opportunity. And then they used my name and said they were fighting me on March 4th, when, that was never the case. So I think that's kind of sucky. If we ever do fight, I'm definitely going to bust them up. And, I'm going to get Congo's 100,000 back for sure.
But Mike, obviously, I know we'll come back to Fury-Usyk, right? But they're hopefully going to fight sometime in April, and then you never know. There might be a rematch, but they may have to vacate some of the belts. So, do you feel like you want to position yourself now, get ready now, like Joe Joyce has done, like Daniel Dubois has done, is get yourself in a position when those belts become vacant that you could fight? Because I know you are very, very close to having the fight with Joshua when the whole Big Baby Miller stuff happened. I know you are very close, but is this your ideal scenario now? Just get yourself in the best possible position.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of people know who I am. They recognize me. It's just harder to. It's not easy to get in those positions, but once you do, once I do, it's going to be very hard to pry it off my hands. So, and I think that the fighters know that, people in the industry, the business, they know I'm very capable of being world champion, and I'm a world beater. So, that is definitely the move this year, to try to put myself in the best position possible. I was able to do that last year. We'll see if we can, kind of get my ranking back from, it was kind of taken off from inactivity. But I was number one in the WBA. I was ranked. I have been ranked in all sanctioning bodies in the top 10. So this year, hopefully, we come back to establish those rankings and to put ourselves into position.
I've heard Eddie Hearn say over the years that fighting you, there's more risk than reward. You're more of a boogeyman, and would you align yourself to that? Would you say you are the boogeyman of the division?
They call Joe Joyce the boogeyman, but I think I make the boogeyman have bad nightmares. So I think that just in general, I'm just the worst nightmare for all the heavyweights right at this point. You know, I'm a boxer. I'm a boxer puncher. I move. I have my own little awkwardness. I'm hard to read. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's gonna come when I step in the ring. So I think that that element of me, you don't never know what you're gonna get. That element of me is very scarce for fighters, to deal with.
Michael,
It's
ask
like
you.
they rather know something bad than to not know it all. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that mystery keeps people away.
I got to ask you. Obviously, Anthony Joshua is trying to get himself back to the top of the heavyweight division now, right? An interview was done with someone called Dominic Ingle. I'm not sure if you're aware of Dominic Ingle from the UK. His father trained Prince Nassim Hamed, and he said, I just want to get your opinion. He turned around and he said, Anthony Joshua has already peaked. He's emphasizing that he's already had his best days. Would you go with that motion? Would you agree with that motion?
I think for the most part, but he's still very young, so I think that it depends on his ambition and his and how much attention that he pays to the sport that he loves so much. So and to himself, you know what I'm saying, to be honest with himself, I think that he has a lot of pressure on him, you know, from being, you know, all the accolades and, you know, being like, you know, the face of England and stuff like that. So I think that he definitely has the tools to be better. You know, I think he has more in the tank if he, you know, if he wants to, you know, pull it out. But that's a question that he would have to answer. I think that's a very hard one. But I think the capability is there. You know, he's still young. He's still in peak shape. You know, I think that the thing that is dropped is maybe his mental. You know, and that's something that can always be worked on. So.
We saw Jermaine Franklin come to the UK and give Dylan White a tough fight. Some people thought Jermaine won that fight. Jermaine obviously now being rewarded with a Joshua fight. Styles make fights. We know that in the heavyweight division, but how dangerous is Franklin for Joshua?
Uh, I think dangerous, not so, but I think that Franklin has the ability to make Anthony Joshua look bad or not look great, and to kind of go with the critics for them to, you know, kind of cement what they've been saying as far as, you know, he's had his best days behind him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Jermaine Franklin can enforce that. You know, because you know, there is a question mark there. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. I think the main thing is really about his head and where his heart is at, and if it's all aligned. If that's the case, then I think Anthony Joshua will do his job and take care of it. But you know, Franklin is also, you know, he's had a great opportunity last fight, and he's also had a lot of experience. So, you know, you can tell he's a humble, you know, guy, and you know, he works and he's in the gym. So, you know, sometimes fighters just need that opportunity. So, but that also could have tainted him too. So we don't know. There's a lot of question marks, and I think that that's where the element of people wanting to watch and I'm gonna tune in. You know, that's where the advantage is.
Former WBC champion Deontay Wilder quote on stating that it was stated that he quoted that he's a free agent now and he's willing to work with anybody and any network and any promoter. He's talked about fighting Ngannou over 2 fights, one in the boxing ring and one in the octagon, MMA style. How do you think Deontay will cope with someone like Ngannou in the octagon?
um, Shoot, I think he has an awesome chance. You know, we start out on our feet, and Francis Ngannou is a big, strong guy, but uh, we know he's kind of a similarities to Deontay Wilder when we say as far as, you know, him being skillful and talented. We know that he's just big and strong. He doesn't really have the you know, the mobility and you know the coordination. Well, yeah, we know that, you know, what I'm saying, they're similar to you know, the coordination and the skill level is you know, not, you know, um really high quality, but they're very strong, they're very talented, they have a fighting spirit, you know what I'm saying? And that alone could get you, obviously they've both been world champions and you know, in their own rights, and you know, so it makes it an interesting fight. So I think that Deontay, you know, he's long. You know, he would have the advantage when it comes to the fight, which normally he doesn't. You know, he's normally not the best mover or boxer, but he still gets the job done. And so I would see him doing very good in that fight,
Michael,
both on both ends.
obviously boxing full of politics, and over the years when Deontay Wilder had the belt and Joshua had the belt, they're both undefeated. The fight didn't happen. When we had it with Fury and Joshua over the years, and fights don't happen. You know, the sanctioning bodies are announcing all sorts of different mandatories there. Joe Joyce in a good position, Daniel Dubois in a good position, Hergovich Ruiz has been called, Ruiz Wilder has been called. You know, do you heavyweights across the pond, America, US, and everywhere else around the world, just need to fight, and I know that your promoters and managers are there to guide you and tell you, but sometimes fighters now need to just say, listen, get me in there now.
And that's how I feel. You know, we all could have, you know, just, you know, aired it out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. You know, that's the only thing that kind of sucks, that, you know, you have so many the promoters are battling instead of just coming together, or even the fighters, you got people only fighting one time a year when they could be just fighting, constantly. You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw. They want to see the fights. It wasn't, Deontay Wilder didn't make that Tyson Fury fight, or vice versa. It was both the fighters made, action-packed fight, and they wanted to see it again and again. So, I think that the promoter should be, focusing a little bit on more about making the fights happen, and keeping these guys active, because a lot of the fighters, doesn't make any sense for the fighters to be this inactive and to be waiting for shows when there's so many fighters, there's so many fights that what I'm saying, everybody wants to jock for position. If you're good and you're great, then what I'm saying, if you have a what do you call it, make a name for yourself, then, and you can use that's good. But we're in the business of fighting, and it's starting to turn a little bit out, like a fake wrestling match.
Just before I let you go, Michael, and appreciate your time. Obviously, a number of heavyweights fight coming up. We spoke about Joshua Franklin, Joyce, and Zhang, but obviously the standout fight is probably going to be Fury-Usyk. It looks like April 29th here in London. We hope it happens. His promoter Frank Warren's announcement is imminent in the next week or so. We know how talented Usyk is. You know how talented Usyk is, and we know how great Tyson Fury is. But both of them in the ring, how does the fight play out?
I think it's a very close fight. I think that I think it's like a thing where Usyk loses the first beginning rounds, and starts to win maybe towards the end. Kind of win most of the back end fight rounds, and I think it becomes like a draw or like a split decision. I don't think either one of those guys, knock each other out. Um, yeah, that's how I would see it. I think Tyson Fury. I mean, I think Usyk has to do a couple of things, a little bit outside of his box to, make a statement to kind of get that. But I think he will. He has the tools to do so. He is very intelligent to make those adjustments. So I think he'll do that, and I think he could either lose by decision or win by decision, split decision. It'd be very close, or maybe a draw.
Well, we look forward to it and look forward to an announcement hopefully this coming week. Michael Hunter, I appreciate you jumping on, giving me a few minutes of your time. Hopefully, when we've got an announcement for your next fight in opponent, we'll catch up again. But yeah, stay well, stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Michael Hunter for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.